Good afternoon, viewers across Africa, across Ghana, across the general globe. It's yet another Thursday, and we are happy to have you log on to watch us. This is the Leadership 360 show. I am your regular host, Dr. Victor ABBEY, and it's my singular honor to welcome you to the show. Let's take a quick break and take a message from our sponsors and take our Leadership 360 pledge, and we shall be right back.
I promise on my honor to be a better leader every day, faithful and loyal to my country, organization, and fellow team members, countrymen and women. I pledge myself to remain true to the core values of integrity and self-discipline through my daily choices and actions. My mind is alert, focused at all times. I shall show respect to everyone always and every time. I remain a better leader and team player always. So I pledge.
Welcome back, cherished viewers. As I said, today is yet another Thursday, and we are back to continue our discussion on leadership. Last week, we had a very fantastic discussion on leadership and discipline. We had Dr. Ajiman here, and he helped us through the discourse to unravel the ways and means we can use to achieve discipline, both as leaders and individuals, or if you like, team members. Previous week, we spoke about leadership by example. And today, as announced last week, we're going to look at leadership and goal setting. It is said that the best leaders are the ones who have goals, who have a purpose, who have a direction, or who provide purposes for their teams. So today we're going to explore that. But a quick reminder that, yes, this program is on DSTV channel 277, and we are live on Facebook as well. Just log in and let's have a conversation around all the issues surrounding leadership, especially on today's topic, goal setting, so as to continue to learn, unlearn, and relearn to accelerate the betterment of our societies for sustainable development, as we all crave for. Today, goals are the foundation of every success story that we hear. When you speak to lots of leaders, great leaders, they will tell you leadership without goals or leadership without purpose is meaningless. So what is it that is so critical about goal setting that as leaders or as team members we need to understand? When we talk about goal setting, it is the foremost effort or foremost attempt that results in making the invisible visible. What is seen as impossible at the initial stages to become possible. Somebody will say, the process that requires determining what is to be achieved and how it is to be achieved. That is working hard at it to ensure that you actualize what you intend to achieve. As leaders, we need to have goals, both for ourselves and for our teams. We cannot just lead for the sake of it. Goals lead to we understanding where exactly our teams are required to go or to end up, the destination, the end state. And we need to rent a place in our minds at all times for goal setting, so that continuously we revisit that space that we rent in our minds to pursue goals that will be beneficial for our teams. So it commences with understanding or considering what is it that the team is required. What are we aiming at? What is the end state? So take your team, for example. Your team has been assembled to achieve a purpose of maybe productivity at a certain rate or executing a project. What is the name of the project? What is the outcome? What are the steps to be taken? So that is what we mean by considering the steps towards establishing that goal. So that steps, consideration, and pursuit of that goal is what we call the goal setting. Now, if goals are anything to go by, where it is said severally that leaders with success stories have goals, meaningful goals. What are we talking about? What makes it so significant? So let's quickly look at what makes goals very significant. Because it provides focus for leaders, a direction for both leaders and team members. For the purpose of our discussion today, let's focus on leaders, why leaders need to set goals. Of course, every team member, to scale up their game, must have goals or must be allocated goals, or they must set goals for themselves. But as leaders, why do we set goals? It gives you focus and gives you direction. It also gives you, the opportunity to create actionable plans. Like I said, you have determined the end state already. What is it that you are supposed to do or we are required to do to achieve those things that we set out to, achieve? The team's purpose is to execute a project. What are the actionable things or actionable steps that we need to take together? That is the reason why we need to set goals. If you don't set goals, every road leads you there. It said, if you don't know where you are going, every road leads you somewhere. So we need to determine exactly where we are going. And with that, it gives us focus. So even as we go along the journey, the challenges that come with it, we are able to, appreciate how we should navigate around those challenges. Now, at the end of the day, you have something to measure your own performance or your own capability or your own achievement or success story. Without goals, how do you, assess how far you have come as a leader? How do you continuously even ascertain your own capability or capabilities as leaders? So it is very important for us to set goals. Leaders without any direction, you see them having problems or lots of problems with their team members because you don't provide reasons why certain actions must be taken because the team members don't even know. And even yourself, you don't understand your own needs and what you need to do about those things, those needs to get to where you are going. Now, talking about goals, it is not just about stating anything. Oh, I want to be the best leader. Oh, I want to be the best performer. Or I want to be the best manager. It is not about that. Goals must have proper definitions. We must all have heard about the SMART goals or objectives must be SMART. The same way goals for leaders or for teams, we must set goals that are SMART. And by SMART, we mean must be specific, must be measurable, must be attainable, must be relevant and time-bound. So you don't just state things that you want to achieve with no meaning, no specificity attached to it. You must be, direct to the point, stating specifically what it is that is your goal. I want to travel to Accra and back by this time. That is a goal. I want to ensure that my team becomes the most productive team by the end of the first quarter of a year. That is a goal. Is it realistic? Do you have the right people? You must assess all this to understand that this is what you are aiming for. And measurable means that along the path, you should be able to track how you are faring so far on that journey. A goal for a leader who intends to build capacity for the team or team members to ensure that at the end of the day, each person's capacity is harnessed or is properly equipped with the right knowledge to execute the project must have time limits or time, implications. So that by what time are you going to do that? How realistic are the goals that you are setting? Is it possible that you can do the training or you can conduct that training all by yourself, or you need external support? These are things that we need to, as leaders, we need to determine for ourselves. You cannot set out to achieve a goal that is unrealistic. It must fit into your resources available. You must, understand where you need external support, how you can use internal resources to achieve your goal, and within what time frame. And these are the things we need to talk about. If it is relevant, it must support growth, because as you set goals along your path as a leader, it should lead you to growth, either growth personally in your capability or the capability of your team. These are things that we need to wrap our minds around. So goals must be smart. It is very frivolous to just stand out or step out and say, I want to do A, B, C, D. With what? And how realistic are those things? So leadership requires all of us that we sit back, reflect, and determine our goals. What are the challenges within our own self, and what do we intend to do about those things? Let's quickly go into specifics with regards to what leadership goals are available. Some examples to guide all of us to understand that in leadership, you don't just set out to do something. So here is a gentleman or a lady who is in charge of a team and has gone into him or herself, or is required to go into him or herself to assess his own needs and say that, okay, at this point in time, I need to work on certain specific things or goals that will inure to building capacity for myself in order to handle the affairs of the team. So example one will be, you want to achieve, relationship building, a very solid relationship with team members. So the team leader may set out to say, every quarter or every month, I will have a team meeting with my team members to understand the challenges within the team, the individual challenges and the collective challenges that are existing. With this, you see that the leader here is very clear in his or her mind that monthly he is going to have a meeting with his team to understand the challenges and work on those challenges and measure the progress that he will be making in building relationships, understanding dynamics within the team in order to progress towards the attainment of the goals that the team itself is, assigned. Then it can also be weekly meeting with direct reports so that the leader here wants to practice active listening. Maybe you are a leader out there, you don't have listening ear. Or there's a difference here between hearing your direct reports speaking with you, or you're hearing whatever they're saying, but you're not listening to understand exactly what they mean. So the individual leader here may decide that once a week, I want to meet with each direct report to understand the realities with them. What are they in need of? What are their challenges? How would they assess me? Well, how have I performed? Feedback, 360 feedback. I think on the example, Leadership by Example show, Mark did mention that leaders must avail themselves for feedback when it comes to, leading by example. So a leader may choose to say, okay, I want to have these meetings as a goal on weekly basis to ascertain that I am a good listener. I take my time to listen to whatever it is that my subordinates or my followers are saying. Now, another goal can be a leader setting out to say, a goal for me is to achieve a 70% rating among my, staff or team members on anonymous survey. So if today he stands out and says, by the end of the survey, which is anonymous, I should be able to achieve a 70% rating. He knows the number of team members he has, and he is able to assess that the kind of feedback he's going to get will give him 70% rating. That is a goal, specific, within a certain period, and say that once the survey ends, this is the kind of result I want to see. Is it realistic? Yes, it is. It is realistic because it gives the leader opportunity to, provide a platform to know him or herself better and to know whether employees feel valued or not. Is he, as a person or as a leader, performing to the expectation of the team members? Is a goal that he can set or he or she can set for himself. Now let's look at another example. A 30% upward feedback to improve on learning and accommodating constructive criticism. Many of us, more often than not, do not like critical feedback. We take it from the negative point of view and feel that you don't need to tell me my weaknesses or my challenges. I need to tell you, but you don't need to tell me. A very good leader must always have a goal to receive feedback. It aids in, becoming better at the leadership, process or the leadership action that we all, hardly require. You cannot be a good leader if all you do is to, believe in yourself that I know it all. So a leader may set out to understand that, hey, how do I take criticism, constructive criticism? Let me explain myself and let me get the feedback that I want or that I require. That will aid in the understanding that he or she will need to have to progress as a person. Now, by way of coaching, to be able to coach, we have said it on this show that leaders must provide coaching. They mentor. They create more leaders. Great leaders create more leaders, not just, they themselves singing all the praises about themselves or people praising them, but they must be able to create more leaders. And to do that, they must coach. And a leader may set out to say, in order to achieve a coaching goal, I will set out every day or every month or every week and say that I'm going to coach one person or grant opportunity to coach one or two people. That is a goal. And leaders must set out to do this. By coaching, you get opportunity to also scale up your own game because it gives you opportunity to understand the mindset of your team members and you are able to move on in that direction. Let's move on to another one which talks about a leader may want to build a solid network around him or herself to be able to appreciate other perspectives from other angles. Perspectives that border on, technicalities, perspective that border on, relationships. The leader may set out to understand these things. So by so doing, the leader may set out to say that, okay, I am going to meet or attend networking events maybe once a quarter or once a month or once a week to really have a conversation, have a discourse with other people from other perspectives so that I get to appreciate and scale up my own knowledge as well. It can also be meetings. We said leadership by example. So maybe the leader, you are the leader out there. By this time as we are speaking, you are always fond of getting to meetings late and with excuses. And your team members also come back to you with the same attitude because they emulate whatever you are doing. And you have identified it as a lapse and you want to correct that. It can be a goal that you set for yourself that I will ensure that every meeting that I schedule, I will be there 15 minutes to the time and I will ensure that that meeting ends right on time. It's a goal. It's specific, time-bound, and realistic, it's measurable. Once you stick to that, the beautiful thing is that you end up, imbibing same in your team members while improving on your own skills and capabilities. So the goals we are talking about will definitely lead to effective time management. So you become effective at, your personal and team time management. You do not take away time, unnecessary time, or you don't waste people's times. You don't waste your own time. You don't procrastinate, at all times. You said, I will be there. These are very critical goals that leaders can set for themselves. Now, when we talk about goals, it can also be that you are the leader out there you give out a task to your team or a team member, and all the time what you do is to go out checking on them every now and then. That could be tantamount to micromanaging your team. It doesn't give room to team members to be innovative, to be creative. So you want to sit back and say, okay, one of my goals moving forward will be to, reduce the time I check in on these people, my team members, so as to reduce the micromanagement aspect, so that I wait until such, a tolerable time frame, then I check on them. Because every task is given with specificity as to when it is to be executed. You must understand that you give a task and you continuously go back checking may not give room for your team members to think outside the box. So you need to set that goal, or it could be your goal that you want to reduce the check-ins so as to avoid micromanagement. So these are quite, interesting examples of goal setting that leaders can go through. What it does is that at the end of the day, leaders get to combine, all the, qualities that we've spoken about on this show, critical being emotional intelligence that we talk about. By the time the leader goes through all these, objectives, examples that we have cited, or the goals that we have cited as examples, he will be in a better position to understand what he or she, is able to take and is not able to take. His emotional, weaknesses and strength or challenges, and is able to control and be able to move forward in the right direction. So 5 steps. Let's look quickly at 5 steps that, we can employ to set good goals for ourselves as leaders. We must identify our own strengths and weaknesses. Self-introspection is key. How do you come by? Do you really know yourself? Do you understand what your strengths are? Do you know what your challenges or weaknesses are? It's important that as a leader, you take a step back to understand some of the issues with your own self. I said before you can lead others, it is important for you to lead your own self. If you cannot lead your own self, then you may have difficulty leading others. So one of the key steps to brainstorm on our leadership goal setting is to understand our own selves by identifying our own strength. And by so doing, we should be able to prioritize among all the challenges, the areas for improvement. Your strength, you maintain. Your challenges or weaknesses, you improve. So how do you prioritize these challenges or weaknesses towards improvement or for improvement? We need to do that. And then what actionable steps do you take on these prioritized, plans or things that you want to improve? It's very important that you put down or you pen down actionable plans. Today, I want to improve on my emotional intelligence. So when I'm interacting with people, I must be conscious of the way I react. I must listen more than I speak. These are some of the practical ways that we can do that. And we must track our own progress. We stated earlier, getting feedback is one of the ways to track progress. How have I been? How have I performed? That is why, for example, some leaders will set out every now and then to have a deba with, their team members or a meeting with their team members to say, I am here. Give me all the points that you think or who you think I am. In other words, it's described as 360-degree feedback, where, the followers or team members give feedback and the leader is given opportunity to, either explain and, offer some kind of advice here and there, or, pass comments. These are ways that we can brainstorm on our goals. So feedback, tracking progress, prioritizing areas of improvement, and understanding our own challenges are areas that we need to brainstorm on when we are to set out goals for ourselves as leaders. But in all this, the summary of it is a popular saying about the 7 C's of goal setting, which has to do with conception. You must be clear in your mind what exactly you want to do, and you must have confidence a strong confidence in yourself that indeed I can do this. If you don't have it, you need to build that strong confidence in yourself that indeed what it is that I want to do, I am confident is going to lead me to the right destination, and it will inure to the benefit of my team as well. And we must have focus. Remember we said when you have goals, it gives you direction, it gives you focus. So that concentration is what you require to achieve your goals, and you must be consistent. Don't say you want to do this today, the next moment you are changing it. Consistency is the name of the game, and you have to, as a leader, be consistent in your behavior. It touches on your character as a leader, leadership by example. It touches on your self-discipline. It touches on everything you do that people are seeing you. You mirror what you do every day to others. You are being seen by your team members. You are being seen by others, and you must ensure that at all times, all of us require that. You must be, consistent at what we do. Commitment. We must be passionate. We must be emotional about it, because it is something we know that at the end of the day will inure to our benefits. In scaling up our leadership, agenda or effort, we need to understand that goal setting is key. You have been appointed into a new role as a manager or as a leader of a unit. What is your purpose? What goals do you hope to achieve? Besides the team's goal, what is your own goal that you hope that by the end of the day or by the end of a period, these are the things you want to check and say, I have done this, and it has improved my leadership skills. It has improved the performance of the team. And character, like I said, exemplary, and you must build capacity continuously. On this note, I will say it is goals that drive leadership actions. Goals are the key foundations that drive leadership. You cannot set out to lead effectively if you don't have purpose, if you don't have your own understanding of your capability, you don't have understanding of where you are going, and you continue to go in that direction. It will not lead you to any better, destination. So at this point, let's take a quick break, and when we are back, we shall continue with the conversation. Welcome back from the quick break. So far, we have touched on very, critical points relating to goal setting. We have spoken about what it is that we mean when we say goal setting. That process that commences with consideration of, what needs to be achieved and working towards achieving those things. Goal setting requires us to be specific, we have to set out to achieve very measurable things. We must, talk about, or we must set goals that are attainable, that are realistic or relevant, and they have, time specificity to it. Those are the things we have spoken about so far. At this point, let me quickly announce that you can contribute and participate in this conversation by dialing 0531 982298. 0531 982298. If you are outside the country, Ghana, you just add +233 and you will get through to us, and let's have a conversation. Goals are the foundation of development as well. You cannot develop, we cannot have sustainable development, we cannot have betterment of our societies if leaders don't have goals. We as leaders and teams don't have goals that they need to achieve. In our Leadership 360 conversation, the focus is that leaders need to improve on their leadership skills or leadership capability so as to drive the agenda towards achieving the goals or sustainable development as we all crave for. Our continent, our countries are in need of this sustainable development, efforts so as to make life better for ourselves. I must also admit that it doesn't take, few people to achieve that. It takes all of us to contribute to that process of achieving sustainable goal. And that is why we're having this program, to ensure that at the end of the day, in your own space, in your own locality, in your own community, in your own workplace, or various levels within society, what is it that you are doing? What purpose do you have? Let's relate it back into our society. Today, the world is changing so fast. We have myriad of issues that we're tackling. We look up to our political leadership to solve many of the problems for us. But the question that boils back to most of us, or we all need to answer, is in your leadership or in your community, in your space that you function, what leadership steps or actions are you taking to ensure that the myriad of problems we have are solved or are catered for one after the other? That is the criticality of this program. Why we believe that let's draw our attention to the challenges we have. Many have said within our society, leadership is key. But who are the leaders? All of us are leaders. Let us not believe that a group of people have the key to the solutions to our problems, our sustainable development challenges. We all have that key. We need to exercise it. In your area, in your home, at the workplace, what are the challenges? Have you taken time to understand the challenges, your own challenges, what capacity you have to, surmount those challenges? If you don't, I want to urge you on this show that take a time off, do some self-introspection, examine your own leadership style, ask yourself the critical questions. How am I performing as a leader? What are the goals I need to set to improve upon my leadership style? Do you just go out there and, do it the way you understand? I guess we have a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome to the Leadership 360 show.
Oh, sir, I thank you. I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, too. Please go ahead.
I'm calling because of the teachings you've given. I guess you are explaining how leaders are supposed to plan their management. But I'm chipping in something that if you are subordinate and you realize a leader is bullying or is trying to destroy you, and you because of your experience, yours is to detect bad leaders and then correct them. How do you go about it? That's the leadership skill that you want to pursue. How do you go about it?
All right, thank you. What is required of all of us at any point in time is to provide genuine and sincere feedback to our leaders. It is better to say it the way it is in a very courteous manner than to keep it and the leader will have no opportunity to know what he or she is doing is, it's not in their interest or it's not the best for the team, rather than keeping it to, ourselves. We need to do that. We need to let our leaders appreciate what it is without any resort to, insult or disrespect, if you like. So I would say, for example, a leader is known for doing the wrong things, always. A typical example, during meetings or any time the leader schedules a meeting, he comes in late at all times. There is nothing absolutely wrong in expressing this to the leader, that it is quite time consuming for us to come in here and not finish our meetings on time. So we will want that as a team, we collectively agree to some timelines to be able to, have our meetings on time, end our meetings on time, and to move on to other things. So I would say sincere feedback, saying it as it is with courtesy and respect is the way forward. I believe with this, we should be able to, a leader who is screwed on, who is interested in learning and improving upon his or her leadership skills, will consume this or take it in good faith and work on it for the betterment of the team and for his own improvement of his team as well. Good afternoon, Eunice from Bato. Hello? Hello, Judith from Bato. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Oh, all right. I guess we have lost Judith on the line. If you can try back, we are still here. We are all learning. This program is not meant to, dole out, wisdom. It is meant for us to open the discourse around leadership, challenges within our system, for us to learn new things and unlearn the wrong things in order to, relearn to accelerate the process of our development. It is not in one man's head, or wisdom does not rely or, lie in one person's head. We have another caller on the line from Ashoman. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Your name, please.
I'm Hayford, calling from Ashoman Estate.
Hayford,
yes,
welcome
sir.
to the Leadership 360 show. Your point, please.
Thank you very much. And then God bless you for the great work you are doing, sir.
Thank you, and God bless us
just
all.
A little follow-up on what the first caller said concerning the subordinates. I also think that you should expect that your leader may not receive or accept all your views that comes in. Sometimes your views may be needed in the future, but not now. So you should not be discouraged when you give a view and at the end of the day it looks as if they have not taken it. Sometimes we feel discouraged and then we decide that we fold in and don't contribute anything to making the institution grow up. So I also want to say that it is important that we, the subordinates, we should relax. Express your view. If you express it, when they don't receive it, maybe they may reject it, but as time goes on and they realize that the views that they have or the path that they have chosen didn't work, they may come back to your own, try it, and when it happens once, twice, thrice, and they realize that your views are the ones that is stopping the institution, they may take up your views the next time. So I think we should also relax as subordinates rather than rebelling against our leaders. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. That's excellent. That brings my mind to the point that we need to also understand, as we have always said, emotions. In as much as we should work on understanding our own emotions, we should know that others also have emotions. So the feedback you want to provide, you should also know when to give that feedback, where to give that feedback, and in which manner or how is very important. For all you know, how you give that feedback is what, gives that determines the kind of, response you get from the one you are giving or your leader. So we should understand that emotions come to play here. Good afternoon, Unity from Bato.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome to Leadership 360 show.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Glad to have you. Please go ahead with your point.
All right, sure. I believe we have leaders who are kind of authoritative, and then and so my question is, how would you adjust yourself to work under this leader as a follower, to be able to meet his or her demand in every sector you find yourself as a follower, and then to be able to change him from being authoritative to something spectacular, to be able to enhance on your the development of the sector.
All right. Thank you very much, Unity. It relates back to my earlier point I was making before your call came in, that emotional intelligence is one of the keys to handling some of these leaders who are authoritative. How do I mean? Here is a leader who doesn't listen to anything. That means that the person has either an ego issue or has an emotional issue that needs to be understood and addressed properly the right way. So as a team member of such a leader, you need to understand the mood or the state of mind or state of behavior of such a person at any point in time, and how you bring issues that are challenges to the team to his notice. When you do that as a team member, you are able to identify the right time and the best means to point out his challenges or his shortfalls to him. So it is not about enduring, just enduring for the rest of the time that you are working with such a person, but it's about taking time to also understand the realities with that person and how you can manage that person beyond his egos, beyond his emotions, so as to draw his attention at the end of the day to the wrong things that he is doing. I believe with this, approach, you are in a better position to know how, where, and when to handle such a person to gain the right, attention or the response that you require. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to say this. All goals that leaders set must be aimed or tailored at either improving themselves or improving the lot of their team members or their organizations or their businesses. You cannot set a goal that is, self-centered. It is not all about you. In as much as you set goals to improve upon yourself, you know that your goal at the end of the day must inure to the benefit of others. Good afternoon, Claire from Accra.
Good afternoon, Doc. Thanks for hosting the show. I want to ask a question.
Thank you.
How do I handle a failed goal?
Please speak up a bit.
How do I handle a failed goal?
A failed goal.
Yes.
Okay, so you have set out a goal. The first question is, how did you set that goal? Did you actually do due diligence? We have set out, a benchmark for setting goals where we talk about it must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be attainable, it must be realistic or relevant, and it must have time frame or must be time bound. If you have not done or you have not set a goal that is within this, 4 critical or criteria within this space, then you must first of all go back to the goal and make it smart. The goal must be smart, and then it will allow you to determine actionable steps in either, bouncing back to achieve that goal, or you restating the goal generally, or taking a different approach to it altogether. So you must go back and examine the goal itself. How did you come by the goal? Does it meet the goal, that particular goal? Is it in alignment with the criteria that we have spoken about, making it a smart goal, or is just anything, that you just state, some fantasy or, something out of the blues that you want to achieve. So it must meet the criteria. And I believe when it falls within that criteria, you should be able to, work towards achieving it. But indeed, you can meet those criteria, but yet challenges will come. You must determine those challenges and work on those challenges. Good afternoon, William.
Good afternoon, brother.
Welcome to the Leadership 360 Show. Your point, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for your program. Your topic is very fantastic.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Well, I will ask that who is the leader? Who is supposed to be?
Please, can you raise your voice a bit?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. I am asking that who is a leader?
Okay. All right.
I think I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. You just lower the volume on your TV set, and then we have a very, good conversation. But what I gather from your point is, who is a leader? A leader we have defined on this show as the one who shows the way, who inspires, who motivates, who determines a destination and ensure that he identifies talent or the necessary resources, human and material, required to work towards attaining or achieving that, goal or shared goal. So leadership is not about titles, it's not about position, it's not about rank, it's not about certificate, it's not about, so it's not all about that. It is someone who is able to harness the resources within a team, both material and human, to work towards the attainment of a shared goal. That's what we define on this show as a leader. I guess I have answered you well. That is our meaning of leadership. It's got nothing to do with somebody who is in a position of authority by virtue of mere appointment or qualification. So that is our meaning that we ascribe to leadership. Thank you very much. Cherished viewers, at this very point, it is very important for us to understand that goals are very critical requirements to success within our teams. Regardless of whatever team you are handling, whatever your purpose is, you need to set goals. In your own life, in the life of communities, in the life of a nation, in the life of a continent, or every business must have a purpose, and leaders play that role. And to be able to do this, when you have a goal, you commit to that goal. And remember we said commitment, concentration, consistency, clarity is key. And when you do that, you feel honored by yourself. You have a certain value system that you work with. And that leads us to the honor code that we pledge to as, viewers and producers of the Leadership 360 show. Once you are a fan of this program, we urge you to pledge onto this code. Let's look at our honor code.
I am a proud and firm African. I will take a stand. I will lead and be the change. Come and take my hand. For the safety, honor, and welfare of my country and company come first. Always and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of the people I lead come next. My own ease, comfort, and safety come last. Always and every time.
Yes, it is what it is. Our own comfort, ease, and safety must always come last and every time. Whatever goal you set out to achieve as a leader, it must inure to the benefit of your team members, your community, your company, your country at large. Let us continue to have this conversation online, and I believe strongly we'll continue to also impact our society positively. It's been nice having you around. I have been your host, Dr. Victor ABBEY, and I hope to see you next week at the same time. Have a pleasant weekend. Bye.